Hey guys, Ben Grantham here, and today I wanted to talk to you about something that I received from Ethic recently. That is a Pandemonium deck with a difference. It is a 490mm version of the deck, a miniature Pandemonium, a Pandemonium if you will. Bit of context for you, the original Pandemonium deck, which has already proven pretty popular with riders over the past several years, was adopted by a few big names in the sport with the specific intention of cutting the deck down for a better fit for them. Dakota Schuett, Henrik Palm, Claudius Vertesi are just a few names that come to the top of my head. I actually did it with my Limwen deck back in 2012, and you can see just how that one turned out. So what difference does it make? Generally speaking, a shorter deck is going to provide a faster whip. It would contribute towards having a lighter scooter as a whole, less material obviously, which would then make a lot of tricks and combos easier as a result, particularly flatland, hence why I mentioned Henrik Palm. A longer deck, however, provides more foot space, more pop when you jump, better balance when riding, especially in fakies because of the greater distance between the two wheels, and similarly better balance when you're grinding on those rails too, because there's more space in between the wheels on the underneath to gain purchase of the rail, and also the weight of you on the rail is distributed across more deck. It's easy to see why park riders gravitate more towards shorter decks, whereas longer decks are seen as being more street. Personally, I prefer shorter decks. When I was on Team Razor, back when that was relevant, I always rode those Ultra Pro models that were about 19.5 inches on the length. Better for flatland, which has always been my preferred discipline. That said, I have done pretty much all my favourite flatland tricks on the 21-inch Pandemonium as well, so you can have good flatland game on a longer deck, but it's a lot harder, I'd say. So getting back to the Pandemonium, apparently scooter shops, particularly Skate Pro in Europe, were inundated with requests from riders to cut their recently purchased Pandemonium decks down, or to start selling some that had already been cut down. It's not that easy to do either. You'd have to cut the end off and recreate the back end. Everything from the hole for the brake, the hole for the axle, and also the trough where the brake sits. So it's a pretty tall order if you don't know what you're doing. So the word got back to Ethic, who took it upon themselves to manufacture some with that shorter spec. And what it means is that it can now more aggressively compete with the other shorter decks on the market available by brands such as Blunt, Phazon, District, Lucky, Phoenix, Drone, Alpha Omega, etc. A lot of what I can say about this deck is what already applied to the original version, so let me take you through that real quick. It is made from 6061 T6 heat-treated aluminium, as are the majority of decks on the market. It has a forged integrated head tube, so no welds up here, just the ones down there, and has a head tube angle of 83 degrees. The brake is steel that has been coated with nylon, which dampens any vibrations you might get. It is secured by a single screw on the underneath, which also bears the Pandemonium graphic. You know what, I had it the wrong way around, so there you go, now you can read it. There is an extrusion along the deck that corresponds with a keyway on the brake, and when slotted together means the brake will always remain in line with the wheel. It has 3 degrees of concave, although this is a fisheye, so I doubt that helps much. The dropouts are cut diagonally here and will accommodate pegs. It has these hassle-free spaces that help shield the bearings from moisture and dust particles. There are 3 colorways: flat black, like this, transparent black, which is what you see here, and polished, all of which look absolutely awesome. The profile is not fully boxed on the sides, but not angled as aggressively as the old Addict decks were, which to me seems like the best of both worlds. It reduces the weight without sacrificing too much of the grind surface area on the underneath. This leads on to what is probably the most defining feature of this deck, which is the weight. It's no secret that Ethic have pulled all the stops in producing one of the lightest decks on the market. You can see exactly where they've trimmed all the fat and left only what contributes towards the structural integrity of the deck. Everything from the cutouts to the variable thickness of the material in various areas. It's a testament to Ethic's knowledge of design, material tolerances, distribution of force, etc., which is expressed in every product that they release. This is where things get slightly different. The length is 490mm, which is 19.2913 inches, and the width is 113mm, which is 4.44882 inches, as opposed to 120mm, or 4.72441 inches, so they did make it slightly narrower as well as shorter. This miniature version weighs in at 1.18 kilograms, or 2.6 pounds, or 41.6 ounces. That is cool. I'm pairing it with some titanium bars as well, so it's going to make for one incredibly light scooter. So what can you expect this deck to look like after 2 years of beating the shit out of it? Well, the nylon is going to wear off the brake and expose some of that steel. The paint is going to wear off along those grind rails, which is exactly what's meant to happen. Means the graphic doesn't get spoiled. I've actually got a few indentations on the sides, but I don't think I've ever had a deck where that's not happened. There is a teeny hairline crack towards the dropouts though, so maybe it would need to be a bit thicker at the back. That said, I think this is from one of the first batches, so maybe that's been remedied a bit in the newer version. So what don't I like about it? Not very much, to be honest. I think I'd maybe prefer an 82.5 degree head tube angle rather than 83. Maybe some more colorways as well, as generally I think choice is a good thing. In fact, my favourite colour's always been the dark blue that Addict used on their LeBaron deck. But other than that, can't really fault it. Anyway, that is the Ethic Pandemonium 490mm scooter deck. If you are a fan of short decks, I definitely recommend giving it a look. Thanks for watching.